Hello guys and welcome to our channel today, and today Jamie and I have decided on this Christmas Eve to play a Battle of the Bulge game or the Ardennes campaign game, depending on which side you're playing. Oh, I'm playing Germans. So anyway, our sort of scenarios that we've picked, this is, I'll say the table we've got set up, which we'll show you in a second, is representative of just a generic Ardennes game. We're picking our game for the early part of our campaign, so basically December the 16th up into sort of Christmas period, where the Germans are really pressing their attacks all across the front and obviously really pushing hard into the Samvith area. Our scenario is going to be something that we've come up with, although it's picking little bits from the Battle of the Bulge book. The rules, special rules that we are definitely taking away from that is the weather rules, and that's weather for fog. In there, the visibility is limited to 18 inches, and we're going to be taking that on board. We're not going to be playing the optional rule which they give for weather, where it can get thicker, thinner, and so forth. We're just
too much hassle.
Yeah, too much hassle. We're just going to keep it the standard 18 inches visibility. I'm using 1,250 points of German forces, and you're using?
Just 1,000 points of Americans. He's cheating.
No, it says so in the book. I can use them in an early part. Anyway, enough of that. So our scenario is all set up so we can play an early part. Although it's a snow-filled terrain, the early part in the northern sector, and that it wasn't no snow in this time what we're playing, but it wouldn't be the Ardennes.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas, and it wouldn't be Ardennes if we wouldn't play with snow.
It's the only way you're going to get a white Christmas.
It is here in the UK anyway, especially in the south of England. Anyway, so let's turn the camera around, Jamie, and let's have a look at the forces and show the guys what we've got. So here is my 1,250 points of German regular Heer Grenadier force. Starting at the back, we have a first lieutenant on there on the left. We got an artillery observer there next to him, 2-man sniper team, 3 infantry squads, 1, 2, 3, armed with light machine gun, and 1 Panzerfaust, and one of the sections has a half-track with them. We have an 80mm medium mortar with spotter, 2 MG42 machine guns, a Pak 40 and an RSO truck to tow, and a Panzer 4H with side skirts. So that there is my 1,250 point force to fight Jamie's 1,000 point Americans.
And here we have it, guys, 1,000 points American force, all regular infantry. So starting off, we have a first lieutenant with 2 extra men, and just behind him we have a regular medic with an extra man with him. And going to the left, we've got a 10-man section of regulars with BARs, and the sergeant has a Thompson. Then at the back, we have a 57mm anti-tank gun with a tow of a M3 half-track. And then we have the 3 Browning machine guns teams set up.
I quite like those actually, when led down to sort of manoeuvring into position.
Then we have a medium mortar team with the spotter model just there, guys. Don't see what he's spotting the wrong things.
Yeah, spotting your stuff.
And we have a regular sniper team. And dropping it back, we've got an M4 Sherman set up with all the machine guns. And another 10-man section there with 2 BARs and a Thompson. Now, quick thing, the force selector or the theatre selector for the Battle of Bulge says you have to include regular, early and mid-war units. However, the box sets they sell include 2 BARs.
Yeah, which is set up for the late war.
Which is set up for the late war. So we've just put the late war units in purely because of that.
Yeah.
But if we're playing it wrong, there's any changes, or if we're playing it right, please let us know.
In the comments below, yeah. Like I said, it's quite a lot of the times in that we do change some of the rules, so sometimes you might see us do something where you think, well, that's not quite right. That might be an intentional change. But yeah, like you said, with the infantry squads here, it definitely does say early mid-war for the Americans, but the box sets are definitely late war makeups and that. But there we are. That's your American force, Jamie.
Yep.
So here we have then the table all set up for our game. You may notice in that sort of the red sort of deployment markers, they're representing the 3 bands of deployments where Jamie can deploy his troops into. Sort of taking sort of effect of like the old hidden rules and that, combining that in with the fog rule that we're using obviously from the Battle of the Bulge book. My deployment would be from the front end of the table here upwards, so I've got to come on from this end of the table, and my objective for the Germans is to thrust my way through to the last sector. Jamie's obviously objective is as a blocking force, and he can deploy his forces. He's going to probably divide them up, write down little notes, divide up his force and deploy them into the 3 sectors, starting from the second one here. That's the first one, second one, and then the third one over on the back there. Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game. Obviously, the wood's providing cover, and obviously all the normal rules and that, and they say the buildings from the normal rules for destroyed buildings and woods. From hampering movements and everything else. Yeah, so there you go, that's the table all set up. We don't intend to do film the dice out of the bag, do every dice roll. We probably will just do end of turn wrap-ups and that, what had happened, the main key points of the action that was going on, just to give you guys an overview. Otherwise the video would be just endlessly long. Come on cautiously, brought up an infantry squad in the rain into the woods here. I'll see if I can get panning into there so you can see him. And these guys took some shots over here onto the medium machine gun team. Managed to get a casualty and a pin on there, but when Jamie activated them, rolled for his orders, passed his order test, took some shots back at me. I lost 2 guys. I then brought on my medium machine gun team up into here, and again they can't move and fire, so they're just getting ready to set up to put some fire onto his medium machine gun. My mortar team is here. My spotters deployed over on the right hand flank. Jamie then in turn put a lot of his units down off his table obviously, and he put his sniper team here on ambush and his infantry squad here covering his left hand side, also on ambush. Meanwhile I brought on, put that tree up there, deforestation. I brought on my second medium machine gun team to cover the right hand flank here, hopefully get some shots down onto there soon, but again out of visibility at the moment, over 18 inches. And over here, I've got an infantry squad pressing up on the right-hand flank, and I put in there my forward observer, and there's the spotter there for my mortar team.
You're going to get confused as who's in that squad, aren't you?
I probably am, yeah, you're right. So there we go, that's the end of turn 1. Hopefully, starting into turn 2, I can get into that first sector, but it's proven to be quite difficult so far with these fog rules. So join us again at the end of turn 2. So here we are then at the end of turn 2. And it's certainly been interesting, Jamie.
Wow, it's been very close. I think you've taken out the machine gun and the sniper, but I've taken out quite a few men in your section.
You have, yeah. I mean, you have certainly pinned me down on a certain couple of units.
I think that's my plan now, is to take out some of your sections. I think your teams aren't going to get up in enough time with the fog rolling in, so therefore I've got to take out those sections. But my blimmin' anti-tank gun popping up from his hidden position and can't even take out
Yeah. That's it. Half-track drove all the way down the road, popped off here, anti-tank gun, ambush fire, bang, straight into it, ricocheted off the front there, managed to save that. Infantry dived out of the half-track into this wooded area here. Sniper team that was up in this building here, took some shots on them. I think he did get a kill, didn't he, if I remember rightly? He got a kill.
Yeah, you got one.
Luckily, it wasn't the NCO.
The amount of times you nearly lost your NCOs
in that squad, definitely. And obviously they returned fire and got rid of the sniper team. With some very lucky shots to hasten to add. Jamie then obviously deployed this unit here, and machine gun team up in here, and obviously the infantry squad in here, and put some fire back onto that infantry section there into the woods.
And also the half-track.
And the half-track, which sort of snuck round the corner from here. It was the toe for the anti-tank gun, popped away with the 50 cal, again popping another pin onto that unit. So they are getting pretty banged up in the centre there. Myself, I have failed to bring on my tank, my anti-tank gun, and my sniper team. I've failed, what have I got? 9s and 10s on my dice roll every time, and I'm going to change them dice. I think Jamie's rigged them.
Yep.
This infantry section here is advanced out of the woods after we sort of depleted. There was a medium machine gun team over here in this building. My MG42 dispatched that, which allowed, as I said, this infantry section to push up. The officer came on to give them some moral courage, to sort of get pressed forward. So they're sort of advancing on the left flank. Over round here on the right hand flank. I popped out with my medium machine gun, which is on the road here. It was back here in the building. Jamie's sniper team, before it got dispatched, took a shot at it, and again, luckily it missed. I don't know how, but it missed.
He's not getting paid.
He's not getting paid, no. The infantry section over here that was on the right-hand side is now advanced up into the woods, took some shots. They actually took some
MVP unit.
Yeah. Got some ambush fire from this unit, in the Americans have in the woods there.
4 of them, 5 of them?
4 of them went down with that shooting there.
In return, you only killed 1.
I only killed 1, so yeah, so some good trade-off from fire from the Americans there. My spotter is now from the mortars in here, all ready to sort of spot some targets. But again, I'm still restricted to that 18-inch range, so I've got to slowly creep up.
That's why my aim is to take out the infantry sections, not worry about the teams.
Yeah, exactly, mate, exactly. And obviously my forward observer is creeping around, trying to get into an advantageous position to put some fire down. So there we have it, guys. That's the end of turn 2. Join us back here at the end of turn 3. Here we are then, the end of turn 3. What do you reckon, Jamie?
Well, I think the Americans are going to hold on here.
Yeah, I reckon they are, mate. I reckon I am really, really struggling to break in through the first sector. It has been the scenario we've come up with. I think it's been really interesting. Not knowing where he's going to deploy his units from, keeping it all hidden off table until we can actually, whether he wants to fire or where he wants to deploy. It's certainly having a massive advantage, which is obviously normally different from what the normal sort of bolt action style games are. And it does make you think. I've taken a lot of fire this turn, right, Jamie, from the old tank here. The old tank came on, he put some shots over, he put his anti-tank gun into the his tank gun into the anti-tank gun, missed.
Well, no, you did one pin, remember?
That was from the machine guns.
Yeah, your main gun.
Yeah, main gun missed, machine guns fired, got a pin on them, didn't do nothing else. Later on in the turn, Jamie decided to sort of return favours and he put a shot onto me.
Oh, what was it? You were sort of laughing.
I was.
How much damage you did? Oh, or the hit? There's a pin marker. Your damage, a pin marker. Then did you read the damage table properly then?
No, I did after that. And I went, oh God, I got to roll for turret jam. And guess what? I jammed. It's just now stuck sort of looking down to the left now. So that's the rest of the game it's doing that. But yeah, good fun. But infantry in this woods here is pushed up into this woods onto the outskirts.
Advantage, but I failed the order.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie failed his order test to fire onto these, went down, which also helped him, obviously, with that extra -2 for me to hit you.
I think with all the shots, you took out 2 men.
2 men. I've managed to put a couple of pins on them from this unit here. My artillery observer, he's just sneaking away. You might just be able to see him down through the tree there. He's placed his barrage down to that where that template is there. That's the start of next turn. That's where that's going to come in, or hopefully come in.
Backwards.
I know, probably on my own men. Me, 2 medium machine guns are starting to slowly push up, trying to hopefully get into the next bits of cover to advance on, to put some fire down to the Americans. My mortar team opened fire and woefully missed.
I think you hit the machine gun team next to you, didn't you?
I probably did. And the infantry over here on the left-hand side with the officer attached, they're slowly sneaking their way round to the left-hand flank here. And my spotter team I managed to bring on, which is great news, because obviously I needed something on the table. But my anti-tank gun and its towing tractor still rolled its 10 for
out of fuel.
Yeah, it's probably out of fuel, mate.
It's in a fuel crisis.
But there we are, that's the end of turn 3. Join us back for turn 4. So here we are at the end of turn 4, and I've managed to bring on my Pack 40 in the little RSO truck right at the end of the turn. So that's now hopefully coming on turn 4. Jamie had a really, really good turn. He managed to take out an infantry squad that was in this centre woods here, and he took out this squad that was advancing up on the right hand side, moving across into sector 2, but waiting for them was some cheeky medium machine gun and a Sherman there with their machine guns, and actually it obliterated them. But unfortunately though, he did have a loss. He had an anti-tank gun, if you might remember, in the last turn in here. That got taken out by my infantry advancing up onto the left hand side, put some fire in, and managed to destroy the crew on that gun.
But likewise, you've also lost your infantry in the centre.
I have, yeah. Losing those infantry in the centre and those on the right hand side. I'm now down to just 1 squad, and I'm just barely touching. Well, I haven't even got there now because they've gone. I'm just at the end of holding sector 1. The American dogged advance is the defence in here, stopping my advance moving forward. My Panzer IV, that was rubbish. That failed its order test. So the Germans are getting bogged down. Definitely a tough one.
It's not the way you saw it going.
No, it isn't the way I saw it going. I thought those extra points might have served me well. More transport and beginning to pick up more transport for this scenario. But anyway, join us again at the end of turn 5 and we'll see where we're at. So here we have then the end of turn 5, and this is where Jamie and I have decided to call it. It was a brilliant game. I just ran out of infantry. The Germans, Jamie shot me to pieces and actually get in there. And I'll sort of show you the table so you can sort of get an idea of what had happened. As I said, I managed to, the tank this turn, yet again, decided not to do anything and failed its order test.
He's not getting paid.
He's not getting paid.
I think he ran out of fuel.
I think he ran out of fuel. I think that's what we said at the start. Is a very fast-moving action in this game. The anti-tank gun just slowly plodded up again. I just couldn't get it. Couldn't get it.
Too late.
I had two medium machine guns. One went in the building. One covered the right-hand flank. Again, no infantry support there to protect them. Jamie's infantry. I managed my infantry on the left-hand side there, fired into his, caused a pin, caused a couple of casualties. But then he returned fire, and with 4 pins he had on there,
still got a man.
But like I said, he had the medic behind there, he had his leader behind there, and he was just trying to rally them off. And it was just, I ran out of steam. As I said, I took his half track out, he took my half track out, so we sort of traded transports there. But as far as anything else, his Sherman was patrolling the top road there. That was ready to come down. That's what took my half track out. We just ran out of steam.
You needed another turn.
I needed another turn, and at least, like any commander would always say, you'd always need more men. But
you had more men.
I did. I did. Perhaps that was the wrong thing. I loaded up on support units, too many support units.
I think 2 machine gun teams. You didn't gain much benefit from them, because I think you took out my machine gun team in the first sector with one of them, and the other one started just whittle away at the other squad. I think it's actually the squad on the right-hand side in the first sector that won it, because they held up there for, what was it, 3 turns?
3 turns, yeah. So that's what I was just looking at there.
You literally stuck in your own zone.
That area there, that helped me out.
3 turns.
Yeah. As I said, I've barely got into... I've cleared Sector 1. I was just touching into Sector 2.
And even with a run order with your furthest infantry squad, you're not even getting to Sector 3 on the last turn.
No, I'm not getting there. So a very good sort of stoic defence. We'll get the camera spun round and we'll do the outro. So there we have it then, guys. That was the end of our little bolt action Battle of the Bulge game. Thoroughly enjoyed the game and that. I thought with the extra 250 points that the Germans had, that they... I mean, I know you sort of thought myself that'd be quite overwhelming.
I think it could have been. I think you just bought the wrong stuff.
Yeah, I needed more transport. I just couldn't get there. And I think 2 turns where I couldn't get some of the units on, that really held me up in that. And I said, I think the scenario design that we've done here for this game, I think was right. I think it really did reflect that the American blocking force trying to stop and suppress the German advance. And I think that, especially in the early days and that, American forces would have been pushed in to just do what you can.
We're currently changing the signposts around so you go the wrong way.
I think that's what he did.
That's why he got lost. It took him ages to come on.
Yeah, exactly. Confuse their own units instead of the Americans. But yeah, so it really was a good game. I think it did reflect the sort of early actions and that there towards the sort of Saint-Vith area and all across the Battle of the Bulge Ardennes front. Thoroughly enjoyable game. If we were playing this as a standard sort of normal game, you lost 6 units.
Something stupid like that, yeah.
And I lost, how many was it? Oh, 3.
3.
So if you're playing that as a normal game, then yes, but we wanted to play this as a scenario and to try and reflect, as I said, the typical types of action using bolt action rules. And it said the Americans...
I think that's where you need to be inventive with games like this, is, just playing a sort of run around, shoot 'em up. You can play whatever scenario you want. In the end, it just resolves to run around, shoot 'em up.
The idea of what we had was for each sector, if the Americans could hold them in Sector 1, major victory. If they could hold them in Sector 2, minor victory. And obviously, if the Germans got into Sector 3, then obviously it was a loss. I think in this case, you held me. I took Sector 1.
Definitely.
And you've held me on Sector 2. So I think
even if we played a 6th turn, what would you get in there?
I'm not going to get nothing there, mate.
No, I think your infantry there would...
I've got a 4-man infantry section left. That's it.
Hang on, the officer might make it.
Well, I suppose, yeah. But a 4-man infantry section left. That's all I've got. I've got the tank, which I've struggled for 2 moves now from moving. I struggled to bring it on. It's done 1 turn come on. That's all it's done.
Jammed.
Got jammed. Turret's jammed, yeah. The half track just in front of the RSO and the Pack 40.
Adolf will not be impressed.
He would not be impressed. I think he's shouting up and down and screaming and shouting. But that was normal, apparently. Anyway, so yeah, other than that, I think it was a really good game and something that if we were playing this, because we've wrote a campaign set of rules, Jamie and myself, and looking at it, it'd be interesting to see put the
Well, it'd be devastating with mine.
For yours, how that would reflect, and mine, because I've lost a lot of men. So I've still got to roll for the men. So I think for both sides and that would be really devastating. So really looking forward to how that would go. So more news about our campaign system that in the future. And we'll also hopefully sort of run through some games and that on the channel and that, and showing you how it affects with our campaign. And until then, mate, what do you reckon?
One last thing to say in it.
There
the
it is.
24th. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy wargaming.